Yo, what's up, good peeps? Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone. If you're new to the show, you probably, or if you've been at the show for, by the way, just realized we're on episode 116 today, which is just remarkable to me that we've done this 116 consecutive days, and a lot of you have been here for all of it, and I think that's really, really cool. So you're probably noticing, however, that we've changed it up a little bit. Got the Boudreaux on this side today. Because, as you mentioned, when Drew walks over this way, which is the way he comes into the shot, that the Boudreaux has been blocking him. So I moved the Boudreaux over here. So Drew, who by the way is already watching right over there on that side of the phone, is in here. So let's do this thing this morning. Saturday mornings are always great, man. We always end up having a really good crowd here. Watch this on weekends. Hi, baby. You gonna come say hi to everybody? Wow. Truck. Papa's truck. Okay, well, we'll see you later. You come back whenever you're ready. All right, let's see. Let's say some good morning to y'all. My dad, who, by the way, it was his idea to move the Boudreaux bottles. He's watching. What's up? What's up, Deke? Good morning to David Childers, Dale Crochet. Wayne, good morning. Aunt Sharon, good morning. Good to see you. Trivia, good morning. Charlie Cavell, good morning, y'all. Kelly Hunt, good morning. Scott Bork, good morning. Brent Burgess, good morning to y'all. All right, let's get into it. So if you missed it yesterday, Nick Underhill of The Advocate has a report that Zach Strief has been offered the Saints play-by-play gig. The New Orleans Baby Cakes are going to retire Wally Pontiff's number 31, which I think is awesome. We'll get to that. And something that I assume is going to become sort of a regular part of Morning Scone here is just a football Q&A. Believe it or not, y'all, like you have made it through the wasteland of sports throughout the summer months, which I don't actually believe exists. But I think that's just an excuse for lazy people not to work hard. But anyway, media days was this past week, and the Saints report and start practice on Thursday. So Saints camp begins with the first practice on Thursday. So next week you have like real people on the field doing football things. And then the week after that, LSU reports for fall camp. So, hi, bud. You going to come over here and say hi to everybody?
Sure.
Soph?
Daddy.
He started saying daddy now instead of dada. So I melt a little bit when I hear that. Shuruck. Okay, duder. See you later. All right, let's see. Let's get into some of these things here. So Zach Strief is. So if you got questions, particularly football questions, fire away because I'll see them there and I'll get to them. And if you're new to this, I sprinkle them in anyway as we go along if I see them. So fire away with questions if you got them. And thanks so much to Boudreaux as always, who sponsors Morning Scone. Their Bloody Mary mix, their margarita mix. Towards the last Saturday we had Drew's birthday party. I had a bottle of the Boudreaux margarita mix. Gone like that. Awesome. It's not too tart. Really sour things make my head sweat. This is perfect. Tastes great. It's not too sugary. All right, so let's see. All right, Matt. How about that? That's really nice. Rashad Ali Muhammad. Matt, you're my guy. You keep it so trill. They don't like it all the time, but truth hurts sometimes. Keep up the great work. That's really nice, man. I appreciate that. That's why I do what I do, man. Thank you. Sean Kelly, good morning. Brad Gotro, good morning. And Buddy Chesson, good morning to all y'all. So a couple of things. We'll start with the news from Nick Underhill that Zach Strief's been offered the Saints play-by-play gig. Entercom, which owns WWL, has declined to comment or said that Strief has not yet signed a contract. So we've gone through it before a little bit where it's the person who's picked to be the Saints' voice to replace Jim Henderson. They're not a Saints employee. They're actually an Entercom employee. Entercom owns WWL. So it's kind of an oddity because it's like, well, who gets to pick? Is it Entercom's choice or is it the Saints' choice? And my feeling is obviously with it being Strief being offered the job that this is a Saints decision. I feel really good for Zach Strief. It's an enormous opportunity, so good for him. He's a beloved player, so in that respect, it makes sense. It's really an oddity though. It's very common for players to go from the field to the booth. I mean, and even immediately, A-Rod just did it in baseball, Tony Romo did it in football, in the NFL. Like, that in and of itself is not uncommon. Players going from the field to broadcasting, or a desk job where they're a desk analyst instead of just calling a game. The real oddity is a player going from the field to doing play-by-play. So, I mean, the example I gave on radio yesterday, like Greg Papa, who's been the voice of the Raiders for 20 years, it was announced yesterday won't be back next season, and they replaced him with Brent Musburger, one of the most legendary broadcasters ever, who's got 50 years of doing high-level play-by-play. So it's interesting. It's an intrinsically New Orleans thing. Charlie just said, for us, play-by-play is a bit disappointing. Merrick said it should have been Mike Haas. Look, I think the thing I said yesterday on air, which I'll repeat here, is I think it's disappointing for guys that are amazing high-level broadcasters when there's only 32 NFL play-by-play jobs, and you realize because they so rarely come open, your opportunity to get one of those jobs may only come every couple of decades. And when the job goes to a guy who has no experience with play-by-play, who's essentially getting the job because of a feel or a niche that they're trying to fill, I think I can understand why that's disappointing for the other guys that applied. I know the three that were mentioned as finalists were Mike Haas and Sean Kelly and Joel Myers. And the report from Nick Underhill was that they all went through the audition process last week. Those are three amazing broadcasters, two of which have done play-by-play in professional sports. So it's odd to give it to a guy, or to offer to a guy that's never done play-by-play. But I wish him well. For Zach Strief, provided he accepts the job. Excuse me. Turn into Foghorn Leghorn there for a minute. Well, I'll reckon. But I hope he does well, and you could stay in the job forever and become just a part of the fabric of the Saints. It is surprising. Charlie said, "Look, Henderson's one of the best in the business," and he was. And remember, Jim hadn't done play-by-play either. He was on WWL TV for a lot of years, but he went into that role and became great at it, and was one of the best. So, Joby says, "What's bad is people are going to give more slack to Strief, even if he does a bad job, just because he was a player. Hoping he does great, but we'll see, I guess." I think in a transition, no matter who it is, there's going to be flubs. There's going to be a change. It's I'll give you this example. Like, every time I go on vacation and have a fill-in host, I get a flood of texts or tweets or emails or whatever from people saying, "Oh, it's not the same without you, blah, blah, blah. I don't like when you go on vacation." Every broadcaster is going to have a different style. That's just a fact. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you listen to me on radio every day, you've become accustomed to the way that I do a show. And so that's your habit. And humans are just naturally resistant to change. So if someone then is doing the show, my show, differently than the way you've heard me do it for the last almost 10 years, well then it's going to sound off. So I even though it's not as good or bad, it's just that it's just different, So no matter who replaces Jim, it's not going to be Jim. Just like when Chris Blair replaced Jim Hawthorne, there were a lot of people initially who didn't like the way Blair did, but Chris Blair is a very accomplished broadcaster and very talented. He was up for major college jobs. I think he was up for LSU and Virginia Tech that year, and he picked LSU. Or I think he was offered both of them, and he picked LSU. It's just, there's just an adjustment. I think people have really gotten used to hearing Chris Blair, and they like him a lot. And hopefully the same is true with Strief when he gets rolling. So, Kenneth, you aren't allowed to go on vacation ever. Look, Stephen Miller just mentioned the Chris Blair thing too. There's always a transition period. There's no doubt. Let's see. You got a block? Drew just carried a block in here. Can I see it, please? Sure. It's a block that Eric had made with some pictures, like from his summer. Him and his papa, him and his aunts, Roro and JJ, and then him, his bestie, Sophia, his cousin. Where's your block? You want to come see your block? Come get it. Come get your block.
Truck.
Come get your block so everybody can say hi. Truck. Come get your block so everybody can say hi. Okay, here you go. He ran away. All right, other things that I thought was really cool I want to talk about this morning, and then we will do some of your questions, so line them up, fire away. Hey, bud. Drew. Hey. Hey. Hi. Your block's right there. Oh, no, don't fuss. Hey. Hey. Do you want to go swim pool later? Hey, what does Mama say? Okay, what you want to do? Sorry. For those that are new to this show, this is a daily occurrence. And some people think that this is the best part. Ba? Ba what? Hey, use your words, baby. Tell me what you want. Baby?
Mom.
The baby on the bus says, wah, wah, wah. What, Bubba? You want Daddy to hold you? No? Oh, I love you. So, hey, look. Let's see, Dennis mentioned that Zach graduated from Northwestern in communication. Mwah. Love you. Thank you. Cool. I really don't care that you graduated from... What, Bubba? He's trying to take off my shirt because he wants to go to the pool. Okay, pool. I know, I got it, right? Try not to flash all of you. Right? Okay, pool. That's so funny. Yeah. Okay, look. Go watch Sesame. Daddy's going to finish his show, and then you can go in the pool. Go. Grover. We're working on our G sound last night. G. Gala. Do you see Drew there? G. Go. Dude's on fire. No, someone mentioned about Grover. Go. Green. Someone mentioned about Zach Strief going to Northwestern and graduating communications. Grover. Gala. Okay, that's enough. Go watch Sesame. I don't want to say that it's irrelevant, but play-by-play is a really different skill set where you just have to do it and get really good at it. And I know a lot of people that went through journalism school and communication that you turn on the mic with no chops. Like, honestly, I have this conversation with so many young people that'll come shadow the show or just ask for advice in broadcasting. And I'm not completely minimizing Zach's degree. Please don't misunderstand me. Because he was always a great interview, and he sounds very polished on radio when I've heard him do as a co-host or guest or something. I tell young broadcasters all the time that'll ask, I'll say, look, man, you can have 10 broadcast degrees, but if when they turn on the mic or they turn on the camera, if you can't deliver, it's irrelevant. Like, the only question is, like, do you have chops? I mean, seriously, that's it. Like, the other things may help you get an interview or get into a pool of candidates, but ultimately, if it doesn't matter how many degrees you have when the mic's on, you freeze. Grover. I love you. Gala. Miss Gala is his physical therapist. So we work on our G sound. All right, let's get to some of y'all's questions. Sorry for all that delay. Feelings on the proposed 20-second clock in college baseball. I'm sick of them trying to speed up baseball. If you want to speed up baseball, put a clock on the game. Don't make it a 9-inning game. Just make it a 3-hour game or 2.5-hour game. And you get in as many innings as you do. It's what baseball is. It's a game without a clock. Stop trying to speed it up. Grover. Gala. Truck. Let's see. Chris Gordy's watching. What's up, Gordo? Good seeing you this week in Hoover, man. Hoover. Atlanta. Yancey, good morning. Janet, good morning. Let's see. Ryan, Jacob, John, good morning. Let's see. Ryan says, little man's up in the did he always is on this thing. John Wilson, best thing about SEC Media Days this year. For me, I really enjoyed the interview with Greg Sankey. For those that missed it, go back and watch it or listen to it. Yeah, he spent 30 minutes with us, and it was unconventional. We basically did the Ask Sankey, like what we do with Ask Ryan. Terrio, I caught him on his last interview of the day, and he was so sick of answering the same questions about all this stuff. I literally put him on a clock. So you have 60 seconds to talk about expansion, alcohol in stadiums, gambling, or whatever the ones that everybody was asking about. I started the clock on my phone, and I put it right in front. I was like, you have 60 seconds to talk about all that, and then we're not talking about any of that anymore. And he did it in 58 seconds. It was beautiful. He played along and was really good. So go listen to that if you have a chance. Let's see. Charlie says, want to speed up the game but want to add DH to the NL. I mean, I do want the DH in the NL because pitchers batting are at an all-time worst. And when the game is so specialized, I don't want to give away outs. It sucks. I hate watching pitchers bat. It's an automatic out. It's also why pitchers' ERAs in the NL, I think, are less relevant than in the AL. Truck. Because that's one automatic out in the lineup 3 or 4 times a game. Merrick, do you think they'll rotate sites for media day? So we talked about that with Herb Vincent, and they're going back to Hoover next year. And the idea is maybe to bring it to Nashville, New Orleans, some other spots. I think cost is a concern. It was hi bud. What, sweetheart? Hey, why don't you go watch Sesame? They looked at Nashville, but the hotels for Nashville were going to be $100 more per night, so they nixed that. What, bud? You better stop fussing. Hey, listen. Why don't you go watch Sesame Street, and then Daddy will come play with you.
What?
Truck. Go watch Sesame Street. Pool. Go. Kayla. All right, let's see if we can get a few more of your questions in. Sorry, I feel like we haven't got too many of them. Matt, what happened to the Daily Scone podcast? You're really good. Hey, Tony, thank you very much, man. I will. They are absolutely coming back. I was taking some time to study what was working well, what people wanted to hear more of or maybe less of. But the idea is to bring it back. I was, do I do it daily? Do I do it weekly, bi-weekly, something like that? Janet, take that baby to the pool. He's going to, believe me, he's going to get plenty of what he wants today. No, but so for those that haven't seen it, Daily Scone is a podcast I do. It's on iTunes, Google Play, Music, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, all podcast platforms. It's called Daily Scone, and it's not so much a sports podcast. It's more just I guess the way I describe it is with media, how the sausage is made. And some people I think have found that interesting. My idea initially was, hey, do something for aspiring broadcasters as a resource, but kind of like advice. But what I've found is that people in all different industries found it interesting and helpful. And so yeah, it's definitely coming back. What's up with the Matt and Ryan podcast show? honestly, we've talked about it so much. The two questions that we have to answer is, one, how often do we do it? And two, what's the format? Like, are we going long form and getting like a guest and doing sports? Or are we just, farting around and talking about nothing? Is it baseball? I don't know. So let me know what you'd like to hear, and trivia, and we get to that. Darren, good morning. Leroy, good morning. All right, let's see. I might be able to wrap this up. So Saints training camp opens on Thursday, so look forward to that next week, and then the week after, of course, LSU hits fall camp. Of course, a lot of LSU football topics that they'll start to get into as they start to kind of put the roster together. So, I'm sorry. Someone did ask for an update on Christian Fulton. None yet. There was a report this week that NOLA.com spoke to the Fulton's attorney, and he said he feels more optimistic than ever that they'll get a resolution before fall camp and that Fulton would be able to play. We'll see, man. The NCAA has to reopen the case to hear the new evidence that they claim to have. I'm hopeful for that guy, and if they get Fulton eligible, that checks the box on one of the biggest questions on this LSU team right now, which is who plays corner opposite Greedy. Because the reality is, as good as Greedy is, good. Because as good as Greedy is, Greedy. All right, last thing I'm gonna wrap up because he's getting fussy. Okay, baby, what? What, babe? What? You want? As good as Greedy is, nobody's gonna throw the ball this way. Of course, they're gonna throw it to the other side of the field. And if you have Fulton on the other side of the field, well, what, sweetheart? Do you want to clap hands? Bah? Clap hands. I don't know what you want, sweetheart. You gotta use your words. I love you. So if they can get Fulton eligible, that's massive. Uh-oh. Why did you do that? No, he hit his hand in the focus. All right, okay. Shh. Come see Daddy. Okay. All right, okay. Shh. All right. Let's wrap this up because he's obviously. So go check out our. Shh. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. Okay. Do you want to tell Hey, listen. Do you want to tell everybody bye-bye? Can you say bye-bye?
Mama.
Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Baba.
Can we say bye-bye?
Daddy.
Daddy? Okay. All right, y'all have a good day. Go buy Boudreaux's, or I will find you. Go find Boudreaux's, Alexander's, Calvin's, Calandro's, Mid-City Wine and Craft, Canada's in Homa, BoudreauxMix.com. Check out all their social media as well. So go buy it, or I will find you. All right, I'm just kidding, but not really. All right, y'all have a great Saturday, and we'll see you tomorrow for Morning Scone. Mana. Okay.